Why is it if men and women can be equally good or equally bad, you would think that the numbers would be more 50-50, wouldn't you? Obviously, there are shitty moms, but why is it that 90% of the moms get primary custody?
I shall rule this world. There are plenty of ways to do it.
Why are you up?
Because I got some important shit going on here. What do you think?
Boom, the world class.
Welcome to the world class. I am Noble Miguel Mario Tunica Bay, Motion America, Muslim, consecrated and appointed missionary to more science step of America. And today we're going to review a video of the lead attorney. Title: Attorney explains to Ruslan KD why most men don't, quote unquote, quote, fight, unquote, for custody. Shout out to Couch Gang, shout out to Mr. Palmer. You know this is what we talk about. We hear these talking points, a lot of really similar talking points in this space and in real life where men aren't fighting for custody. Lead attorney is going to go into the minutia on what that is, and I think this was a great conversation and educational situation. So let's rock.
And this is something that's very counterintuitive. Guys, most divorce attorneys will tell men not to fight for their children.
Why?
Because most men, if they fight for their children, will not get their children. This is very complex, guys.
What happened?
Who said it?
So let me tell you something about a divorce case. Divorce cases can be, most divorce cases are fairly cheap.
Let's remember, this is a divorce attorney telling you that. So a little goofy bitch on the panel, a little dumb chick in your family, her dumb little voice don't mean anything. Where it actually takes place, getting custody, a person in that profession tells you that. The facts are, most men do not. The facts are 17, shout out to Palmer, 17.5% of men that do this fighting for children, their children, they get custody at a rate of 17.5% across. That's all men across the entire country.
Those lying, goddamn time wasting sons of bitches. Sons of bitches.
Relatively speaking. I mean, they could, it's not these Dr. Dre types of divorces, right?
Sure.
Most divorces you can get resolved for under 15 grand. You can. There's one type of case that you can never get resolved for 15 grand. It is the most expensive type of case that a regular person is going to have.
Custody.
And that type of case is a custody battle. And when you talk about custody battles, those things can get easily 35, 50, 75, 115. Now, imagine you're a man and you've got four credit cards, and you come to me and you say, Lee, listen, I make $60,000 a year, but I want to fight for my 2 kids. And you're going to tell me the facts of your case, and you got a little something. You got some arguments, but it's going to be a real battle because the judges are biased against men.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
And so,
What did you just say? Attorney, the judges are biased against men.
we're going to have to put up a ton of evidence. What are we going to have to put up? Well, we got to do discovery. That's going to cost you 5, 10, 15,000. We got to take a deposition. But then we also need to get the kids some counseling. and we need to get some experts on the case. We need to get the psychiatrists. We need to get the kids evaluated. We need all their reports. We need for these experts to show up to court.
And I would urge people to start studying law of evidence, rules of evidence, rules of law, maxims of law, understanding jurisdiction and how evidence needs to be presented in court, administrative processes, private processes, to understand what he's saying, because there is, it's not just an argument. You have to frame the argument and support the argument with evidence presented in a certain way with respect to each jurisdiction and each, that's okay. And again, with respect to the adjudicative process. So it seems tedious, and it is tedious, but to understand what he's saying, so you can be clear and like, why do I need all that? Why do I need all that? That's to support your argument in court. And it's not just, oh, I know I got to prove it. It's not like being on a panel. You have to present evidence and word it in your, like he said, a discovery. A discovery can be one sheet of paper, or it could be 50. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it's articulated, and it's a lot. So they're going to talk about people presenting, so-called representing themselves in this video as well.
And so you can make $60,000 a year, and I can run up your bill to 80 grand, which you cannot afford.
Think about that. You make 60, and then just because y'all break up, now you owe 80 because of their decisions. But Austin is crazy for not wanting to get married. Like that, out of nowhere, you can go $80,000 in debt to keep your child, to be able to have access to and be able to keep your child that came out of your body first. And Austin's tripping? I don't think Austin's tripping. I think people don't want to count. People like to look to the future. It'll be great. But then when somebody else look to the future and be like, oh, that shit can go bad. They crazy, but you not crazy. I don't understand how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to tell you, I have to say, listen, you got a little something, but if I had to say whether you're going to win or lose, I don't think it's 50%. There are attorneys who will tell you, listen, pay me the $80,000, just put it all on all your credit cards, and I'm really going to try, and we're probably going to win. And what happens when you lose? They're going to look at you and say, well, we tried. We gave it the college try. Then they're going to take their 80 grand, that 80 grand you paid them, and they're going to fix their house and put their kids through a couple of semesters of college. Good attorneys don't do that. Good attorneys do the opposite. Good attorneys say, listen.
That's what y'all notice, and that he not listening. He doing some shit in his phone. This is the type of, they want to be in these conversations, but they don't want to understand the full spectrum of it, because they want to come and get that little shit off, as you're about to see in a little bit. The men. But he's not paying attention. This guy on the right is a pastor, apparently.
Anointing is here right now to cause supernatural miracles to happen for you in your life, in your home, in your family. Now listen, I'm getting ready to go right back to the miracle prayer line, and I'm getting ready to pray. I know miracles is going to happen, but it can happen for you. You don't have to stay sick. You can be healed. You can get healed. I know God will heal you. You don't have to stay broke. God can make a multi-millionaire out you. You don't have to stay down. God will get you up now. You don't have to stay sick. God will heal you, and he want to do it for you right now. But you got to move out by faith. You must order the personal prayer package right now.
So, yeah, that.
What's going to happen when I start charging this 80 grand, you get up to 30 grand, and you're going to come to me and tell me, you're going to say, Lee, I ain't got no money. What I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, Ruslan? I'm going to drop you as a fucking client, because I don't work for free. So now I've got your 30 grand, but your trial isn't going to come for a year and a half. That means you got to get up another 30 grand. You got to get on another attorney's plan.
60 bands. Just that fast. This is the cheap end, right? 60 bands. That's why I tell y'all, shout out to the lead attorney. That's why I tell y'all, the problem is the Bar Association. They the problem. They make everything worse than what it's supposed to be. But even if you put that aside, 60 bands just to be a dad. How much does it cost to be a mom? You know what's crazy? In these situations, like in a divorce, the dad ends up paying. The dad ends up paying for the mom's, the wife's attorney.
To pay for the case. So we attorneys tell you, listen, do not fight for custody if you cannot afford to do it.
The attorneys are telling men to not fight for custody.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The attorneys are telling men to not fight for custody, while the attorneys are telling women that you can get custody.
You can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up.
When these goofy, stupid little bitch boys and these goofy ass, trash ass bum females that are, because I'm not gonna call y'all bitches, because bitches are better mothers than these black and white mothers in these United States. When they're running their mouth, they don't understand this part. That's why I keep telling y'all, it's the fucking Bar Association. These people are in between us two, giving us totally different information, totally different results.
They're not gonna stop. They're not gonna stop.
So I appreciate lead attorney coming up and being honest, but that's not gonna stop me from telling the truth as well. So it ain't about what this Ruslan guy is gonna start talking about. It's this part. This is the part. It's this part as to why Austin is right. It's not about the dumb passport bros. It's this. See, this space, this red pill space, this manosphere space started with child alienation, child support. I guess resistance or what you want to call it. And then realization of what's going on in this dumbass system that don't make any sense. It's not about the dumb dating shit. You get pussy. It's about this.
And a custody case is it's one of the most expensive cases that a man will ever have. And a normal man, not some.
A normal man that makes a normal income is gonna have to go through this. That's so crazy.
An NBA player or something like that. And so a lot of times it comes down to men, and men have tried. And you never hear about the men who spend $75,000 and then they lose, because what happens when they lose the $75,000? Now I've got their $75,000, and now guess what? They have to turn around and pay child support.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. 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 Boy, ain't no fucking way.
Yeah.
You got to turn around and pay.
That shit is terrible, bro. That shit devastating. Devastating.
Yeah.
With what money? Right? Because
Facts.
I've already cleaned out their life savings.
Do you hear this? Do you hear this? You gotta pay 75 grand for a case that you're gonna lose. Then you're gonna have child support, more than likely back child support. They're gonna do that, give you the child support, the back child support, knowing you just went through a court case, being attorneys, knowing how much that you just paid, put you on back child support, takes child support, life savings is already gone. These attorneys that are on his side does this, the judges does this, right? Everybody's aware of these situations. Now you're on back child support, you don't pay it, you can lose your license, you can lose whatever you need to have to make money. And all your life savings gone. So you lose your retirement, you lose your child, you lose your money, you can lose your livelihood from a breakup. From a breakup. You don't have to have had hit your child, you don't have to have had hit the woman, you don't have to have had committed any crime. You could lose your life savings, you could lose your child, you could lose your health from a breakup.
Y'all fellas sure you want to ride this train?
So good attorneys, we say, listen, Instead of doing this whole $75,000 thing, what I can do is try to fight to get the most visitation.
Right. Visitation as a dad is fucking mind-boggling. I just need females that's gonna listen to this to understand how mind-boggling it is to be a fucking visitor for the creature that came out of your body first. Visitor. Imagine you visiting your living room. You could visit just the living room. Inanimate, can't breathe, never felt pain a day in his life. Don't have eyes. Nothing. You visit your living room. You can visit your cell phone. Yes. The babies are beyond our property because they come out of our fucking body. No less our property than our hand. Since you've been convinced by TV that, oh, everybody has a right to their this, that, and everybody's independent, but it don't come to that. None of those rights extend into a man having an opportunity to be around the extension of himself. I had pain when we had pain allowing you to have pain.
That I can. And most fathers are like, okay, because I can't afford to enter into.
And if you don't know what the fuck that means, I mean the damn world that's surrounding you, your little comfort. It takes pain to be able to create that. It takes pain for you to have those little girl concepts that you have. To build that building you sit your goofy ass in. To see those cars that you see every goddamn day. For that grocery store to be able to open those automated doors and shit. It takes pain to do that. You motherfuckers are not present when it's time to build real shit. But then you have carte blanche feelings and rights to do a bunch of bullshit and entitlement to a bunch of shit that we built. So that's stuff, let alone a child that came out of my body that looked like me. This shit mind-boggling, bro. And then let's just move forward so you can hear this shit to this past the thing I was gonna say.
Do an unfair trial, lose, and then turn around and pay child support money with money that I just don't have. Now, what's interesting? The interesting thing you say is the more the man gets closer to court, the more the man has opportunities to win. What?
So apparently, there's some data that he read. I'm just giving you I don't know what live this came from, but in the description will be the link to this conversation, which I'm going to go over in full. You can watch it straight through if you go through that. But so what Ruslan is saying is that the statistics say men that fight for it have a higher chance of winning, or the men that fight, right, which we already know is a false. The men that fight have a better chance or something like that. So lead attorney is addressing, he said you say, so Ruslan has said it, so I don't want y'all to be lost in it, because he does end up saying it again. But there's some statistic out there that says that when men fight for custody, which is a lie, I don't know what statistic you're looking at, men get custody at a rate of 17.5%. All men, and you know that so-called black men get, our percentage is the lowest. That somehow when you actually fight for custody, you have a better chance. So lead attorney's about to explain it.
Why is that? Do you know why that is? Because if I'm representing a husband, there are cases where I'm like, no, fuck this lady. We're going to get these kids. She's neglecting them. She's not taking care of them. She's doing this. She's touching them. She's not doing the things that she's supposed to do. We have a good case. We're like, oh, I don't know. No, let's go to court. The cases that go to court are the strongest cases. You're thinking that the cases that go to court are equally strong as the cases that don't, and that's where you're missing.
You need to understand, please understand what he said. Don't let that part slide past you. What he's just explaining is what I've been explaining about the Bar Association. This entire result in family court is attorney driven. It's about the intel that you're getting from them. He is saying that the cases that make it to court, that give men a better chance to win, is pushed by the attorneys. And those cases are the strongest cases because it's pushed by attorneys. They know that you have a better chance of winning. I hope y'all understand that. So the numbers that you're looking at is influence. Well, you can call them skewed or not skewed, but to understand what you're looking at is knowing that there's a situation when the mom has done something. It's mostly the case. The mom is neglectful, the mom is abusive, something like that. Or they think they can get this bitch. Because they care about their win percentage. You know, that's important with attorneys. They care about their win percentage. Especially the ones that's not a prosecutor, because that's their reputation. They're not being fed every day by the state.
The cases that actually get to the trial, those are the cases that the men have the best chances of winning. So you're looking at the cream of the crop and assuming that the cream of the crop is reflective of the base of the pyramid. It's reflective of all the other cases. Now you wouldn't know that, right? Because you're just looking at the numbers. The numbers don't tell you which are the strongest cases and which are the weakest cases.
I just did what I do best. I took your little plan and I turned it on itself.
Right. Well, assuming that the strongest cases, the men are even acting towards wanting custody, 50-50 custody or full custody.
Here come the bullshit. Here come the bullshit. That's not what we just explained. Now you're saying, assuming that they actually want custody. Goofy. And people like you. I fucking shit is stupid. If there's a fucking case, that means that they were fighting for their child. What the fuck do you not understand about the numbers?
Get the fuck off my phone, bitch.
If it's a fucking court case, that means that they did something, whether they wanted to or not, is irrelevant to the fact that you have a fucking court case with a fucking docket number. So that means what? That they were fighting for their case. They were fighting for their child, right? That's why they have a fucking case. So you want to dive into how they feel. How the fuck are you randomly dive into a bunch of people who you don't know their name and don't know their docket number, whether they wanted to or not? We know that they're fighting because they have a fucking case. That's where the numbers come from. Stupid shit. They don't make and you know how stupid these people are when they say shit like this. You don't even realize how dumb you are.
That's assuming that in the bottom 90% or the bottom 99% that never see a judge, that there's men there that want it.
They have a fucking court case that went to a shit. You niggas is dumb, bro.
You're saying they're getting legal advice saying they don't want it. My buddies who went through this process didn't have it.
No. He said they're getting legal advice to tell them to not do it, not whether they want it or not.
They just went through it and fought in the court system on their own behalf, right? So we agreed that the vast majority of these cases never even make it before a judge. The ones that do make it before.
What he doesn't know, shout out to the ones that do know. What he doesn't know is when you hire an attorney, you submit to the court. Because the attorney's first loyalty is to the court, not to the client. That's what attorneys are not going to tell you. I think I'm going to put a link in the description so y'all can go check some of that out.
For a judge, the man has the higher shot in winning.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And so you're saying, but you wouldn't give them that sort of advice. And I would say, well, why not? Why not give them that sort of advice? And do they always need an attorney in a situation like this? When, again, and this is me being honest with you, I'm saying I've seen it anecdotally.
Why would you have that question when he already answered that?
Totally play out where brothers didn't have attorneys. They went in, they got their kids. They went in, they had an argument. They said, hey, I am the primary care provider. This is how I take care of my kids. The kids want to stay with me, and they got their kids.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
The problem with what he's doing is, and don't do this, just go study law. What he's saying is literally hearsay. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know, you weren't there. You don't know what happened. You don't know the case. You weren't neither one of those dudes. So for you to just promote something and you don't know it, like I talk about law because I know it. I have a law dictionary. I have law books. I don't know how many different type of online shows where we're talking about law. That I'm on in the public. I have no idea. I can't even fathom. Blog Talk Radio, Talk Shoe. I don't even YouTube, Facebook, Live. Who the fuck knows? So I'm on record studying law and sharing accurate information. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying anything. You're just saying anything that comes to your mind because you've invested in this bullshit. And it's people like this that are the problem.
Not on my property. Not around my niggas, he can't.
They give idiots. And here's where the frustration for me comes in. Here's where it comes from. Is that when you guys say stuff like that, it it literally triggers men that have gone through it, that know better, and then what happens is the guys that are much more frustrated, that don't have the skill set to calm down, and they know what's right, but they don't have the way, they don't know how to articulate their frustration. It really fucks with them, and that makes life harder for them. And the problem I have with that is these are the men that allow us to do the shit that we do every day. And we cannot continue to let people just antagonize the men that allow us to have the liberties and freedoms that we have every day. This is extremely sensitive. You piece of shit little weak niggas and you trash ass bum bitches may not care about children, and we know US females don't care about children because you've killed 66 million of them since 1973. We know you're the worst mothers in the history of the planet, especially black females who killed 24,114,000 of those 66 million. You kill 649 a day. We know you don't care about children, but men actually do. And children actually love men. And you know they love us more than they love you. And that's really what it's about. That's why you don't love them. We have a real relationship and we actually care about children. And that bothers us when you say things that are disrespectful. And it bothers me even more because I know another child is in danger when dumb information is spread like this kid is doing.
Right. And so I understand what you're saying. I understand that you're saying, hey, the odds are in our favor, this and this and this. But I'm saying empirically speaking, the numbers don't look like that. And
how you just poo-poo the odds are not in our favor? If you've had a fucking 11% chance of living tomorrow, would you, if you go out the house, would you take your goofy ass out the house? Yeah, you eat this fucking lobster, you got 11% chance. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just gonna brush past it. Oh, but his feelings and whether he wants to, and men and what they did. Like, shut the fuck up.
Then if we can escalate it to that point of, hey, I'm gonna go fight for my kids.
No, dum-dum, he just explained to you because you don't know how to listen. It's not the men escalating it. All the men would escalate it. It's not it just being escalated. It's the ones that make it to court that get the results is the ones with the best. Like, he just explained that to you. This is what it's like talking to these stupid people. He's still asserting something that's wrong when the person in the profession where you got the statistics from is telling you the reality of it. What is the benefit of the lead attorney explaining this? None. It just makes people like me look right, who nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares if I'm right, I'm always right. He don't give a fuck. He don't even know who the world class is, man. He might know who I am. The fuck would he care to make me look like I'm right? Or Palmer? Nobody give a fuck about us. There's no benefit to him to telling the truth. He gets popular off of the other shit. He's not getting popular off of this. His name got an algorithm because people like us was pushing it. He's where he is because of other shit. There's no benefit to him to talk about this shit. So if he just fucking explained it to you, why the fuck would you research stupid shit? You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because he's invested. First rule of business is protect your investment. You committed to that lifestyle and that money and that attention that comes with this bullshit pandering shit on putting shit on men. Because the females that support your congregation can't afford for them to realize that they're not good enough.
I don't know what hole you crawled out of or where you came from, but I'm sending you back.
And then, if they're not good enough, there's no reason for them to pay you for them not being good enough, to make them feel like they're good enough and validate that they're good enough. That's what females spend money for, to get a validation of some fiction or fantasy that they've been having. And I mean females, I don't mean women.
It doesn't sound like it's not in the man's favor. You're saying it's a financial thing. I'm saying is that the only way to...
How is the finance, Jesus Christ. How would the financial thing be not in a man's favor? Because when you're a feminist and you're feminist friendly, you always have to attack a male's feelings.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
And the number one way to attack his feelings is his money. And the number one way to attack his money is to dismiss him financially. Which is what he just did.
The fight for your kids is you have to pay 100 bands and wipe out your life savings. I'm genuinely asking here.
Yeah, let me just tell you as an attorney, my favorite case. My favorite type of case in divorce cases is when I represent the woman and the man represents himself. Oh.
Now watch this nigga miss it again.
Oh my God. Your best case, your anecdotal cases That's my favorite case. And it's not only my.
Hey, lead attorney, I just can't. I gotta let this go. Hey, lead and other attorneys. The last thing you niggas want to see is me. The last thing any one of y'all want to see without an attorney is a Moorish American. That's the last thing you want to see. You don't want to see us. Because you used to those pro se litigants. I'm not a pro se litigant. Y'all call us competent pro se litigants, but I promise you, I'm not going to come in there for myself, which is what pro se means. I just got to throw that out there. I'm the last thing you want to see, my nigga.
Well, that means that you can barely hear the truth. So who has the problem here? What's the problem?
Because we're not going to skip over persona of jurisdiction. You know that. Evil.
Favorite case. It's all attorneys' favorite case.
Because the woman has the means to pay for you as an attorney, and the man doesn't have the means to pay for you or pay a similar lawyer as you.
I'm going unopposed. I'm going to crush you. I'm going to crush you. There's no way you can't deal with AV who's in law school. Like a regular person can't go up against a law school student. And I've graduated law school, passed the bar, and been practicing for 20 years.
So we're talking about the 1.5% of cases where the woman has the means to hire someone like you, spend 70 bands to escalate it, to get it before a judge, to keep the kids from the husband.
No, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about cases where the father opts to not hire an attorney.
Which is on the father.
Correct.
Right. No, I'm sorry. You're talking about cases where I thought we backed up. I thought we were talking about cases where the father opts out of fighting for the kids at all and just gets what he can get. Like that to me is a L. You know, this, like, if you want to be in your kid's life, you have to actively pursue being in your kid's life.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know how you got that from what lead attorney was saying.
So wrong. This is so wrong. I'm so glad you're saying this. This is so wrong. You have no idea how many men's lives have been destroyed financially trying to fight for something that you're not gonna get.
Yeah,
you know,
again, I'm just saying, all I could go off of is the data that I'm finding.
I'm not making myself clear. I don't give a fuck.
And the data that I'm finding,
you're misinterpreting the data. That's what I'm telling you.
According to the data, men have a better shot if they escalate it. So I don't know how
I'm telling you why.
You're saying
you're saying that you're reading.
This is watch this counter argument. This is perfect. I can see why he lasted for 20 years with this. Think about how you would address it, and now listen to how he addressed it. Like you being the guys that's in this space, knowing what you would say, and start to tailor how you say to what you see. You know, like how lead attorney does it, or how I may do it, or somebody else may do it, because it really starts to, when you crush people like this, it starts to crush their stupid little confidence, and they'll stop saying it as much.
The data, but you don't know the why. It's like, guys, you can read that 2 + 2 = 4, but you might not understand it. You might need someone to explain it to you. You're saying 2 + 2 = 4, but you might not understand why. You're reading the statistics, Ruslan, but I'm telling you why. Why is it that the majority of men do not go to court for these kids? It's because they're not going to get them. You know, it would be,
or can I propose a alternative hypothesis?
Let's go down the alternative hypothesis, as if it's what he's about to say isn't the fucking normal response and the standard response and the mainstream response that's inaccurate.
Yeah.
Or is it that the men don't want their kids? Or is it,
oh my God, never heard that. So alternative.
That the men aren't the primary care provider? Or is it the men don't have the emotional capacity to fight for their kids? Or is it because the men have moved on and maybe the man practiced hypergamy, found a younger, hotter wife, and they're ready to start a new family? Why are we not going to acknowledge that those scenarios happen? I see those happen a lot. I see a lot of single mothers around here that would love for the father to be in the picture.
Stop the motherfucking cap. Stop the line. You're lying, motherfucker. You did not.
But the dad.
You see that many mothers, no, you hear them telling you stories that you buy. You don't see that. How could you see that? How? So you there when they having a conversation on the phone and she telling us, nigga, you need to do this so you can't see your kids? All right, Jay. Fuck up.
Dad's checked out. The dad's moved on. Like, where's the responsibility on the men on this situation? I understand that the court system's not fair. You're way more astute to that. That's your line of work.
The dads move out. The dad stepped out. The dad moved on. The dad moved on. So moving on is a problem, right? So if moving on is a problem when the mom is child alienating, ain't that a problem? So you see what slip out of their mouth? But watch this.
Expertise, I'll defer to you. But I'm saying we can't say that all men always want their kids and always get a bad shot from the court system.
Now you're going to back it up with some fantastical extreme. All in all, nobody said that. Nobody said all, not one time. But they have to say this dumb shit to back up the goofy shit that they've been doing.
It's hard for me to wrap my brain around that. Personally, anecdotally speaking, knowing multiple single dads, and also from the data that I'm seeing.
Yeah, you're misinterpreting the data, and I think we haven't really talked about this, but it's true. There are men who do not like their kids. There are men who don't want to spend time with their kids. There are men who don't want to pay for their kids. There are men who don't want to see their kids. I represented all these men.
Mm-hmm. Can you give me a percentage if you're talking generally speaking?
Needed someone
Wait,
to
shut your
work
mouth. Shut your mouth.
I think we've had enough.
Shut for
here.
1 second. Shut your mouth.
I needed someone
Wait,
to
shut
work
your mouth. Shut your mouth.
I'm sorry. What did
You're
you
just
say?
coming off stupid.
I'm coming off as stupid.
From your experience.
Let me finish for a second, because this is very important. Because you want to talk about, all these men not doing stuff. But it's interesting that you don't talk about the other side. Maybe you don't know. Let me finish.
I just said that on the front end, that my buddies took full custody of their kids.
And what did you say? You said that the women, they didn't use drugs or anything like that. So you're not talking about it.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
That's a fact.
That doesn't mean they were the most competent mothers either.
If you could let me finish.
But that's not you talking about their incompetence either.
Maybe you could hear, you're talking about these two gentlemen that won custody of their kids with no attorneys, and the mother weren't on drugs or anything. That's what you said. Let me tell you something about the other side, which you don't want to talk about. There are some shitty moms.
Of course.
And I know that because I've represented them.
Of course.
There are moms that have physically abused their kids. There are moms that are abandoned their kids. There are moms that neglect their kids. Yes. And so if you have shitty fathers, then guess what you also have? Since fathers are humans, guess what mothers are? Mothers are humans too. So you have shitty moms. So if you have shitty moms and you have shitty fathers, why is it that 90% of the women have primary custody when the moms are shitty too?
Spit that.
If he dies,
My nigga.
Amen.
This is what you need to analyze when you're looking at your numbers. Guys, if you don't really practice in the space, you just look at the numbers, you have no idea what you're looking at. You're like, why is it? Why is it if men and women can be equally good or equally bad, you would think that the numbers would be more 50-50, wouldn't you?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Who made this goddamn shit?
Obviously, there are shitty moms, but why is it that 90% of the moms get primary custody?
Hey man, please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. The best thing you can do is share. Please share on all your social media platforms, community tabs, etc. Want to get this channel over 1,000. Closing statements is use his closing statement to this video. It destroys it. I mean that there is no feminism dies with that last statement he makes. It dies. So. All right, with that, man, you know what I say, man. It ain't but two classes on this planet, never been three. You either world class or you outclass. And the question is not which class do you want to live in. The question is which class do the ones coming behind you deserve for you to die in, on your feet, on your knees, respect the craft. No.
All right. I'm sorry, I got lost in a train of thought of just all that goodness I just heard.
Washed.
They would be fools to resist my divine power. His death was a necessary loss. Soon I will have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful. Remember, when a king is loved as I am, much can be accomplished.
We didn't do this because we like you. We did this because we are you.
Boom, the world class.